Ready. Set. Secure.
Hey everybody, thank you for joining me today. My name is Daniel Thrasher, and I am a Senior Security Consultant here at Set Solutions. Today is going to be episode 1 of my series called Coding Your Cloud Move. During today's video, I am going to go a little bit in depth over setting up a logical diagram, just to make sure that you have complete inventory and kind of the infrastructure that you're going to move to the cloud mapped out. The tool that I am going to use today is called draw.io. There are several other tools out there, one of them being Visio, another one is called Cloudcraft. There's quite a bit of tools that you could use to create these type of diagrams, whether they be, like I said, Visio or another tool like I'm using today, which is draw.io. Let me go ahead and get into that really quick. Give me one moment. All right, so what I have here is going to be the draw.io interface. One of the first things you're probably going to have to do is import some icons. The easiest way to do that is to come all the way down here to the bottom left where the plus sign is. It says more shapes. You can click on this, and then there's different types of categories that you can choose for different types of icons. So right now, if you go under networking, I have AWS. These are just the different years that these icons came out. You also have Azure, there's Cisco, there's IBM, there's some even Kubernetes icons in here as well as several other ones that we're not going to go into detail on today. So what I have here is a pretty basic diagram of what you're really going to need to lay out, just to make sure that we know everything that's going to be going on in our next step in the next video, which is actually going to be putting this into code using a tool called Terraform, and making sure that everything is laid out and can talk to each other. I'm going to start at the most fundamental level, which is our VPC, which is the light blue, light green-ish color that we have, square that we have, that's the largest. What I have here that I'm showing is I do have an IP range that has already been mapped out for this specific VPC within inside of AWS. It is a /16. And then from there, what we're going to want to make sure we know is we are moving some web servers and database servers in this move, and we're going to want those separated by what we call availability zones in AWS. The reason being is our web servers are going to have public traffic to them. So what you're going to want to do is make sure that you have 2 different subnets that you can create inside of your VPC, which are shown here in these yellowish orange boxes. What I've done is taken some of that IP space that we have in our VPC and carved out 2 different subnets, one of them being 10.0.0.0/24 and the other being a 10.0.1.0/24. Those are going to be just some logical containers that we have within inside of the cloud to be able to start setting up the separation and decoupling of our services. So the next thing that we're going to want to know is that in each of our subnets, you're going to have the ability to either have it as public or private, and also be able to add in different kinds of different assignments to those instances. What we have here is an availability zone A that sits inside of our subnet. And on this side, we have an availability zone B, which sits inside this subnet. Each of them have different machines in them. Our A over here is going to have our web servers. And I've also labeled here our private IP addresses that are automatically going to be assigned once we build out these web servers. And then I have these green boxes that are shown here that are showing us that these are going to be communicating with the internet because they are elastic IPs. It's just going to be IPs that we're going to assign to another quote-unquote NIC card inside of the web servers. And all of this we will lay out inside of Terraform in the next video to really show how these machines will be built out. Right now, all I'm really going through is that diagram and creating a diagram showing you the different components that you're going to need to have laid out in order to make that next step a little bit easier. Over here in Availability Zone B, in part of this infrastructure we're building, there's going to be some database servers that you'll see are going to be able to talk back and forth with the web servers that we have over in the other availability zone and other subnet, all done through a router. These are the private IP addresses that will be assigned, and we can assign those once we build out these machines. And these are our 3 database servers. The other component that we have in this build is going to be a Vpc Vpn Gateway that'll live with inside of AWS that we will build out as well. That will just show that you can have a solution that maybe you need your on-prem machines to talk to your cloud infrastructure. And this is just a VPN gateway that talks to a customer gateway in another network, which is shown here in this lighter green box. And then these servers are just representative of what you might find inside of that network. This is really just to show you the types of things that we will need to lay out in our logical diagram, just to make sure that we have inventory of everything that we are going to be moving to the cloud from our on-prem solution. I really thank y'all for joining me today and letting me show you a little bit about creating this diagram and showing a couple different components in it. I hope you join me in the next episode, which is going to be creating that infrastructure and mapping it out inside of the tool called Terraform. All right, thank y'all and have a great day.